What's the difference between want to want versus actually want in life? We are going to explore that question in this video. But before we get into that, we need to take a step back. Because if you are struggling to recognize the difference between want to want versus actually want, then that might also indicate that you are currently on the wrong for you path in your life. These two topics go hand in hand. With that in mind, here is what we are going to address in today's video. How to know if you are on the wrong for you path in life with 7 signs to watch for. The difference between want to want versus actually want in life. My own experience with this so that you can have an example of this in real life. The personal growth mindset work that's involved with 7 self-discovery questions. What to watch for as you take action on this. And a 3-question assessment to figure out if you are going down the wrong for you path in your life. So who am I to speak on this topic? Hello, my name is Sagan Morrow, and I'm a life coach for self-aware solopreneurs. I specialize in helping you with self-discovery to live your best life, build courage to take action on your dreams and your goals, create anti-hustle productivity strategies and plans, develop your interpersonal skills, and improve personal fulfillment in your business and in your life. This also means that a lot of the work I do with people just like you includes helping you to do things like unlearn people-pleasing, while also improving your relationship with yourself. All of which is related to this topic of making sure that you are doing what you actually want to do in your own life, rather than what you want to do or what you feel like you should do with your life. How do you know if you are on the wrong path for you in your own life? You know that feeling where you dread doing something that you said you would do, or something that you just feel obligated to do, like you have to do? A great example of this is the Sunday scaries, where you are just dreading the workday on Monday. So you wake up in the morning on Sunday and you're just thinking to yourself, I have to go to work tomorrow. Tomorrow the work week starts. And you can't really enjoy your Sunday properly because you're just thinking about dreading tomorrow going to work. You might also be familiar with that feeling of, okay, I'm obligated to do something, but even thinking about it is exhausting. So that might be something like in your personal life, you volunteered to do something and you didn't really want to do it in the first place, but you felt like you should offer to do it, and now you're stuck because you committed to doing something that you didn't actually want to do in the first place. You might also be familiar with feeling maybe some shoulder strain, maybe some neck tightness, maybe your heart rate increasing uncomfortably when you are focusing your attention on a particular task. So this might be the different things in your business that feel uncomfortable, not in a I'm stretching my comfort zone type of way and I'm expanding, but rather in a this doesn't feel like a good fit sort of way, and I am making a mistake and I do not want to be doing this at all sort of way. All of those things are possible indicators that you are going down the wrong path for you at this point in time. Here are the 7 signposts to watch for. Number 1, you dread doing the thing more often than not. Number 2, you are drained just thinking about this thing that you said you would do. Number 3, you feel like you should do this thing. It's an obligation. Number 4, you have a visceral body reaction, a physical reaction when you focus your attention on this thing. Number 5, you would not do this thing if no one else knew about it or if no one else was counting on you to do it. Number 6, you fantasize about a world where you do not need to do this thing. Number 7, you're only doing this thing because everyone else does it. And therefore, you believe or you assume that you need to do it as well. How many of those 7 indicators were you nodding along with? And were you thinking, yep, I see myself in that? That probably indicates that you are on the wrong for you path at this point in time. Now that you know how to tell if you're on the wrong for you path, it's important to get back on the right track for you and for your life. At the same time, we also want to make sure that you do not repeat this pattern of veering off track and going down the wrong path again. This is part of your personal growth and self-improvement journey. That's one of the reasons where there can be so much value in figuring out how you got onto the wrong for you path in the first place. When you know how it happened, you can more easily recognize those early signs, so that in the future, you can put a halt to them before they trick you into moving in the wrong direction. In my experience as a personal fulfillment coach, one of the common reasons for veering off in the wrong direction is because people make decisions based on what they want to do in their business or in their life, rather than what they actually, truly want to be doing. Here's the difference between those two things. Wanting to want is about liking the idea of the thing more than the thing itself. If you're doing something because you want to do it rather than because you actually want to do it, that's a really big sign that you're probably heading toward the wrong path in life. Here's an example of this. If you love planning things conceptually, but you have a hard time taking action and implementing it, it could be because you like the idea of it more than you like the action of doing it. It's really important here that you differentiate between whether you genuinely like a thing for the thing itself versus whether you only like the idea of the thing. And that can be challenging to figure out. We are inundated with societal pressures, aspirational figures, and the dreams that old, outdated versions of ourselves had for the future. All of that makes the waters a little murky. A powerful way to remove that murkiness is to activate your own intuition, to really tap into your intuitive guidance. And you can do that with my Activate Your Intuition Masterclass. It's free and you can watch it at saganmorrow.com/masterclass. Link is below. I want to give you a personal example of my own experience with wanting to do a thing versus actually wanting to do a thing. I found myself in a situation where I signed up for a volunteer gig because I wanted to do it rather than because I truly wanted to do it. I liked the idea of it. I liked it in theory, but in practice, it was not the right fit for me at all. And this mistake created huge problems for me, especially from an energy draining perspective. It was exhausting. So I started to reflect on past instances where I had done the same thing, where I had gone down a particular path because I liked the idea of it. This happened very early on in my career when I was working in public relations. And then it happened again when I entered into a very short-lived business partnership. So because this has happened to me a few times now, that really indicated, okay, there's a little bit of a pattern here and I need to break this cycle. So here's the personal growth mindset work that I did. I asked myself, what can I learn from this to break free of the cycle and prevent it from happening again in the future? What kind of check-in point or decision-making matrix can I implement so that I can recognize when it's happening and put a halt to it before it escalates? What specific patterns do I see in each of these instances? What are the commonalities? When something like this feels heavy or even harmful, what can I do to A, recognize it, B, connect the dots to prior experiences, and then C, protect myself before the pattern repeats itself? We can think of these as recurring reminders or repeat lessons that come to a close when we have truly learned from them. What is this trying to teach me? How can I, A, best learn from it this time around, B, close the cycle, and C, move on to better, healthier, more useful and good for me experiences? Also, is it this thing that is the problem? Or is it the way in which I am going about doing this thing that's the problem? That's a really helpful question to ask because it might be that you only need to make a few tweaks to your strategy or your approach rather than moving the goalposts altogether. Exploring all of these questions can give you a lot more clarity and really help you with making use of that difference between want to want versus actually want. Here's a word of caution as you identify and do something about this. When you are actively doing inner healing and personal development work, it can make you a lot more aware of how things affect you. As a result, negative experiences negative feelings, negative thoughts can feel that much more intense. It's not that you are more susceptible to them necessarily, but rather it's more likely that you are at this stage now more receptive to experiencing and feeling more things in general. That's why it's very important to create support structures and self-care practices, or even hire a life coach like me to hold that space for you. It also makes positive things feel that much stronger. For example, a smile from a stranger might light up everything around you. So everything just might feel a little bit more intense because you are opening yourself up to it. That feeling of intensity is not a bad thing at all. And it's not actually affecting you any more than it used to. It just feels like it, which is a very real experience, absolutely. A good analogy for this is like when you find out that you have a food sensitivity, you'll start to notice the effects of it much more when you're paying attention to it rather than before, because you thought that it was normal before. So before, when it was normal that you just always felt that way, you just assumed that that's how it feels. But once you were actually aware of it, then you can pay attention to it. And then you can realize this isn't normal. This is not how I want to be feeling. So that's kind of one of the things that can really happen here. Bypassing this work does not make this stuff go away. It does not make it less hard on your system. It's just that you aren't seeing how hard it is being on your system until you start to do this work. And when you see it, you can begin to do something about it, to fully process and release it. That is a crucial aspect. Once you know the differences between want to want versus actually want in your life, then you can begin making changes and acting upon it. The strength or the intensity of how it affects you can be alarming. It can even be frightening. But remember, it's not doing the work that is responsible for that strength and intensity. It was already that strong before, you just didn't realize it. And in that way, there is some comfort and relief in recognizing it, because you are then in a position to take back your power over it. We see the patterns that we want to see. We see the patterns that we are looking for. There are a million other patterns that we are overlooking in any given moment. What makes this pattern special is that you are giving your attention to it. That is what makes it worthy of exploring further. Doing this work in my own life and business has led to some very helpful insights. It's led to some great realizations about the patterns in which this has shown up for me over the years, which means I can now break free of that cycle. I was able to pinpoint the specific beliefs and motivations associated with those patterns, the meaning I was attaching to the choices I made, what it feels and looks like when I'm about to go down the wrong for me path in life, and the checkpoints that I can put in place to prevent it from occurring again in a big way in the future. It's been an amazing learning opportunity, and now I want to invite you to do the same thing. Start to explore your own patterns so that you can break free of your own cycles. And I can help you with this in our life coaching sessions. Visit saganmorrow.com/coaching to book your sessions. In the meantime, here are 3 questions that you can start exploring. Assess anything in your life and business and ask yourself, number 1, if no one else knew that I was doing this thing, would I still want to do it? Yes or no? Number 2, does the act of doing this thing feel as invigorating to me as planning of this thing? Yes or no? Number 3, does the journey and the process of doing this thing hold as much fun or interest to me as the goal and accomplishment of this thing? Yes or no? If your answers were no to any of those 3 questions, and especially if you said no to all 3 of those questions, that might be a sign that you are on the wrong for you path at this point in time. The path you've chosen isn't quite the right fit for you, in which case it's time to reassess your choices and make some changes in your life. And again, you can go through just about anything in your life and business and ask those 3 questions to kind of do a little assessment of it. Any type of project, task, decision, any action, behavior, habit that you are doing. Do that little assessment. Do that little check-in. How many yeses versus nos do you get for those different aspects? It's not enough to just learn how to tell if you are on the wrong path. You also want to be able to take action on that realization. It's time for the next step in your personal growth and self-improvement journey. And if you're not quite sure where to go from here, or if you're wondering what to keep in mind when you're getting back on track with the right for you path in your life or business, you can check out my Activate Your Intuition Masterclass to boost your intuition and get back on the right track on your life at saganmorrow.com/masterclass, or book your life coaching sessions with me at saganmorrow.com/coaching. You deserve a life that lifts you up.